Everyone mentioned today is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything I discuss here is theory until proven fact, even if it is.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me like that, put me in the ring and go out in effect, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these shit I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, how you going? Okay, we're going to get into some news. We've got Nancy Pelosi's resigning apparently, not running again. We have, what else do we have? A lot. Dearborn, Michigan being taken over by Islamists. We have XRP news. We have Snap news, Doge news. We've got a lot of news, actually. But I wanted to say hello to everyone first. How you going, Deb? Conchega. Charlie, greetings to everyone. Been confirmed the parking spaces are narrower by almost a foot. It's no longer a conspiracy. So there you go. What I was talking about the other day. Hey, Slowburn, how you going, J1? Who else have we got in here? Lucette, how you going? Hertz, how you going? Excellent. Okay, let's get into it. And I've got a few things to iron out. I think before I can have a call in with more than one person or show them the screen, I have to update my computer. So that's going to be something I'm going to be looking into. And to do that, I might have to take some time off because I won't have my computer unless I go live from my phone. I don't know. Kenny Nugent said, somebody knows something. Happy Ripple Swell Conference. There's apparently a Ripple Swell Conference in 2026 New York, USA. It's happening this week. Why is it 2026? Okay, anyway, somebody knows something. I don't know if anyone's interested in XRP Ripple, but I do believe it's the new part of the new financial system. So that's what I think when this one falls, there's going to be things that take over. Bitcoin is probably one of them. XRP will probably be one of them. Yeah, I've diversified a little bit, so I've had mine for the last few years. This is not financial advice either, guys. I'm not allowed to do that because I'm not a financial expert. Do you still believe the experts after all we've been through? Anyway, Paul A. Zipula said this guy really nails it on what the temporary pause in Snap has shown us. And I believe this is part of Doge. Or Doge. Doge. I don't know how else to say it. It has exposed the extent to which dependency has been institutionalised. You know they've bought you when they have just handed out free stuff all the time. Welfare makes you weak. We need the smallest government, not the biggest. Cut taxes, empower self-reliance. And that's what it's about, taking personal responsibility. That's what all of this is about as well. Less relying on the government. We know we've got some people who are sick, disabled, elderly. They, I believe, will still get, like, it might be a week or so, but I think they're going to be compensated for that. But it is kicking off. If you don't give all these SNAP benefits to illegal aliens, which seems to be what they're doing, they'll go home. A lot of them. Okay, let's listen to this man.
If the temporary removal of government benefits has done anything, it has exposed the extent to which dependency has been institutionalized. If you pay attention, the system's strength has never been in its generosity, but in its ability to make self-sufficiency seem impossible. It's almost like people don't recognize that dependency is the most efficient form of control. When the governed needs to rely on the governing to sustain their existence, authority no longer needs to demand obedience. It's voluntary. And let's be clear, what we are watching today is not a financial disruption. It's a revelation of how power sustains itself through engineered reliance. By the way, for all my protesters, this isn't about race. Power has no favorite complexion. It only favors those who forget they can stand on their own. But let me give you perspective. A system that feeds you also decides when you're hungry. Self-sufficiency is not a privilege, it's a birthright. Understand this, no matter what you are expected to receive, you are loyal to a system that is not invested in your well-being. It is invested in your continuation as a dependent. Yes, I am aware that assistance is sought out for many different reasons. A benefit card can keep dinner on the table, but it's also going to escort your confidence out the kitchen with it. The meal appears, yes, but the memory of your own capability is going to leave with it. And I say this to you as someone who's already been there where the help feels necessary. But what most people don't recognize when they're inside is the same system that's willing to give you assistance is the same system prepared to criminalize you when your need turns into an action. There's a great saying that goes, hunger is temporary, but the consequences to how you respond to it can last a lifetime.
Yep, he's got a good point.
If the temporary removal...
Whoa, sorry, guys. I'm sorry, that was really loud. Okay, C3 said there's a reason the majority of blue states do not want to give their SNAP data to the administration for verification. Interesting. The administration has asked every state to give their data to them. It's the same reason the majority of blue states do not want to give their voting data to the administration for verification. The fraud is off the charts. And Doge removed 12.3 million people from Social Security, said C3. The majority were over 120 years old, some still receiving checks. 2008 is the average monthly Social Security payout. Who was getting that money? Who were the ones who weren't even alive getting that money? There's laundering going on. Now tell me there's no EBT fraud, voter fraud, SNAP fraud, etc. Audit everything. And I do believe that's what they need to do. I couldn't believe when I saw the pictures of someone who's on SNAP benefits compared to someone who's working. And there are working people on SNAP benefits, correct me if I'm wrong. But the honest people who are using it need it, and the fraudulent people and illegals who are using it should not be using it. How you going, Stu, Kevin, Dammit, Mandy, Cassandra, Kelly? Good to see you guys. I think I've got everyone, have I? Stu? A man of memes said we found one guy in 6 different states getting a benefit. Secretary Rowlands on the need to reform SNAP benefits. Okay, let's have a listen.
What this conversation has allowed is a national spotlight on a broken and corrupt program. We found one guy in 6 different states getting a benefit. We found about 5,000 people that are dead who are still getting benefits. Like, it is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable, are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away and we can serve the American taxpayer. So we want to, number one, most important, get the government open, make sure the people that really need this money are going to get it. But guess what? There's a new sheriff in town. His name is Donald Trump, and this program will be reformed. We will hold people accountable, and we will be able to help those who really need it. What this conversation has allowed,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's exactly what they need. Yes, damn it, Mandy, there are so many people in America that need those benefits that don't get them. Okay, C3 said, so are we supposed to ignore the judge who blocked government funding cuts and is now trying to force SNAP payments? Is involved in a non-profit that has received $180 million in government funding and deals with SNAP? And he didn't feel the need to recuse himself? Corrupt. Wow, the Honourable John J. McConnell Jr. That's apparently who he is. And he's trying to block government funding cuts and trying to force SNAP payments to everybody who's being paid SNAP payments still. Okay, Mike Netter said the 21 states that refuse to send their SNAP data to USDA are California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, and of course Washington DC is in the mix too. These states are stonewalling because they know the fraud is massive. When you hide the books, it's never to protect the honest folks, it's to cover up the rot. Meanwhile, the states that did cooperate are already exposing exactly the kind of abuse the left swears doesn't exist. Mike Netter also said, look at the numbers grow for SNAP in California from just under $6 billion in 2019 to just over $11 billion in 2021. Funny that, hey. On Biden's watch, it actually nearly doubled. California received at least $12.6 billion in federal SNAP benefits in fiscal year 2024, which is 99% of the state's total food assistance funding for that year. This is up from $10.7 billion in 2023. Apparently, even post-COVID, more Californians than ever can't afford food in Newsom's California. Holy cow. Okay, that's very interesting. And in the ones that did hand the information in, they're already finding a lot of fraud. So that's what are these ones going to be like if they're trying to cover it up? Okay, from Secretary Brooke Rollins herself, on her first day, USDA, we told every state to send us their SNAP data so we could make sure illegal immigrants aren't getting benefits meant for American families. 29 states stepped up, 21 blue states refused, and 2 sued us for asking. And guess what? In just the states that cooperated, we've already uncovered massive fraud. The Democrat Party has turned its back on working Americans and built its entire strategy around protecting illegal aliens. They know if the handouts stop, those illegals will go back home, and Democrats will lose 20-plus seats after the next census. That's what they're trying to hold on to, power. There's a new sheriff in town. POTUS will not tolerate waste, fraud or abuse while hard-working Americans go hungry. Exactly. Okay, the Justice Commerce said the next 6 months are critical for the nation and the movement. Your discernment will be pushed to its limits. General Flynn spoke about much spiritual warfare at the conference. If you think that it's confusing now, just wait, you haven't seen anything yet. My advice, get to know the Bible and the drops inside and out. I would highly recommend that you all stop arguing who is a 2.0 and what is fake and what is not fake. Newsflash, it doesn't matter. The fight for your country's soul is at stake, so many more to awaken. I don't care what anyone says, this fight is not over. Get off the couch and get on a mission. I implore you to get involved. Trump can't finish this himself. He's coming from the top down and we go from the bottom up and squash the head of the beast in the middle. Get in the fight, we need you. Q told us long ago what the mission was. You've been selected to help serve your country. Never retreat from the battlefield. Twitter, Facebook, etc. Use other platforms as a form of centralised command and control. Organise and connect, bridge through linking. Source memes material from Battlefield and or Garage. Highlight and share, take and drop. Mission 1, dispute, reject propaganda push through posting of research and facts. Mission 2, support role of other digital soldiers. One falls, another stands, rises. Mission 3, guide, awaken others through the use of facts, D-Class 1 to 99, material and other relevant facts and memes. Decouple MSDNC control of info stream. Ask counter questions to initiate thought versus repeat echo of MSDNC propaganda. Mission 4, learn the use of camouflage digitally. Primary account suspended, terminate use of secondary, which is what I did when my main YouTube channel went down. I had secondary accounts and I just used them. Mission 5, identify strengths, weaknesses, personal and designated targets, RE, Twitter, Facebook and other. Example, RE memes, failure to read through use of algo. Think Tron, MCP master control program. Dependence on person-to-person capture. Slow response time, unidentified users, game theory, information warfare. Welcome to the digital battlefield. Together we win. I've got a cough. Can I just going to mute for 1 second? I didn't want to cough in your ear. Okay, so there you go. Hold the line, guys. Stay the course. And it's funny because I was thinking this morning, you know what? I don't know if there's any more I can do. And maybe I should just, back away. But then I thought, no, you're in it. That's it. You're in it for the long haul. Don Draven replied to Bradford of, what's this? Brad said, I'm effing sick of this administration grifting the American people. They are robbing us blind right out in the open. Okay, now everyone's angry at Kash Patel using the government jet to attend a girlfriend's wrestling show. But the outrage over Kash Patel's travel is nothing but political theatre. As FBI Director Patel is a required use traveller, he's mandated to fly government aircraft for security and operational continuity. The fact that his girlfriend was performing in the same city is incidental, not incriminating. What critics conveniently ignore is that Patel was also conducting official investigative work during that trip. He didn't bend the rules, he followed them. He reimbursed the government for any personal portion, as policy demands. The real scandal isn't Patel's travel, it's how desperate his opponents are to smear a director who's finally going after the big fish. Because a lot of people are angry at Kash Patel at the moment for going and seeing his girlfriend. I don't know. Eric Doherty said, breaking in a disgusted slight, Virginia AG candidate Jay Jones, who called for the murder of Republicans and their children, is being cheered at a Barack Hussein Obama rally with gubernatorial candidate Abigail Spanberger. They endorsed killing us. Do you want to hear from them themselves?
Virginia. And I know it starts right here in Norfolk. So if you're ready to elect a governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, members of the House of Delegates and Democrats up and down the ballot this year, you will make some noise because the world is watching. They want to see what we're going to do, and we're going to send a loud, resounding message that we don't take Donald Trump here in Virginia. We take it for us. It's our moment, Virginia.
Okay, looks like a Timu Barack Obama. Really? See? I don't know. Johnny Maga said Barack Obama's attacking Trump for building a ballroom at the White House. This is the same man who is currently constructing the ugliest presidential library in American history. He was at that. Yep, there you go. He is Timu Barack Obama. Yeah, I thought I bookmarked his ugly library. Anyway, let's listen to what BO has to say.
And as for the president, he has been focused on critical issues like paving over the Rose Garden so folks don't get mud on their shoes, and gold plating the Oval Office and building a $300 million ballroom. So Virginia, here's the good news.
Hang on. Didn't he build a basketball court?
If you can't visit a doctor, don't worry. He will save you a dance. And if you don't get an invitation to the next White House shindig, you can always watch the festivities and all the beautiful people on Truth Social. The point is, there is absolutely no evidence Republican policies have made life better for you, the people of Virginia.
Yeah, not yet, because they're being held back by the Democrats. Hello? Wall Street Ape said Zohran Mamdani is visiting Brooklyn, New York nightclubs for promotion. He's being sold as the man of the people, working for the lower class, while at the same time his phone location's being tracked to Barack Obama's with Muslim Brotherhood leaders. New York's being sold a lie, and there's a lot of people talking about leaving New York if he's elected. Chicago Ray said this woman can't walk the streets of Dearborn without Muslims spitting on her because she's white. Sounds like parts of Sydney. You cannot pass a building that's not written in Arabic. It's like you're in a third world country. She's constantly harassed because she won't cover her head with a hijab. We need ICE to go into Dearborn and deport everyone who's overstayed their visas. That's awful. That is absolutely disgusting. I'm just trying to work out something here. Hang on.
Listen to this white woman's testimony who grew up near Dearborn, Michigan, who testifies that her and her white friends cannot walk down the street now in Dearborn without being spit on by Muslims.
So, coming from somebody who was raised right outside of Dearborn, spent a lot of time in that city, I will tell you that what you are hearing is absolutely true. Now, there's two parts of Dearborn, the east side and the west side. The west side is about 50% Christian, 50% Muslim. The east side is about 90% Muslim, if not more. The east side is where you hear that mayor saying that he's putting that street up named after a tea organization or somebody that was a tea. Yes, that is the east side by Warren Avenue. So as a woman that grew up 10 minutes from Dearborn and spent the majority of my time in that area growing up, I will tell you that a woman cannot walk down the street in East Dearborn and not get harassed in some way or even spit on. I've seen friends of mine get spit on for not covering their hair and their face. You will not pass a building that is not written in Arabic. You cannot read anything. It's like being in a third world country. Now, I know that there'll be pushback on this video and people will say, that's not true. American women can walk down the street in Dearborn. Well, I'm telling you right now that it is absolutely true. And I have several times walked down the street in Dearborn and been harassed. My friends have been spit on. And it happens every day down there. And another thing, I remember growing up, after 9/11, driving down the street, actually on Warren Avenue in Dearborn, and everyone, all of these Muslims lined up on the street, cheering and screaming, beeping their horns. They were celebrating it, and that is exactly what they were doing. So yes, what you're hearing about Dearborn is absolutely true. Yes, it is.
Deport every single one of them that spits on a white woman in America for not covering her head. For more content to help you with...
Okay, that's Stephen Powell 33 on TikTok. Stephen Powell 907 on TikTok. I don't know. Oh, Stephen Powell 33 on YouTube. Sorry. It sounds like Australia. Suburbs in Sydney. MJ Truth Ultra said, Dearborn, Michigan, Kash Patel's FBI arrested 2 Muslim men who were charged with an ISIS-inspired terror attack that allegedly would have involved a massacre in Detroit suburb on Halloween. Muhammad Ali, of Dearborn, Michigan, and Majed Mahmoud are accused of plotting to launch a terror-inspired mass shooting codenamed Pumpkin, according to court documents. They've been charged with receiving, transferring, and attempting to receive and transfer firearms, knowing and having reasonable cause to believe that they would be used to commit terrorism. And that's what the FBI have been doing. No, it's Mohammed Ali. Sorry, not Muhammad Ali. Oh, no. Clint Emerson said Detroit, 800,000 Arabs living in neighbouring Dearborn have successfully created the exact environment they left. A shithole. Detroit residents say it's because of white flight. I wonder why all the white people left. Well, it's a bit hard when everything's in a language you can't understand. You don't even know what the shop is, what they sell. I know, I've seen it in suburbs in Sydney. As I said, again, this reminds me of Sydney, except every single one of these signs you wouldn't be able to read. One's in Chinese, a lot of them in Arabic. It's crazy. Miller Joy said Democrats shut down the government for $300,000 for a pride parade in Lesotho. $500,000 for electric buses in Rwanda. $833,000 for transgender people in Nepal. $822,000 for social media and mentorship in Serbia. $3 million for circumcisions and vasectomies in Zambia. $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. Who's laundering? Hello? $4.2 million for LGBT people in the Western Balkans and Uganda, and $6 million for media organisations for the Palestinians. Oh, they want a propaganda, for the Palestinians now as well. Okay. Sounds like a whole lot of money laundering going on. Think about it. That's why they don't want that. That's why they want to fund all this stuff, because it's going back into their pockets somehow. Believe me. Bad Hombre said Nancy Pelosi, who's filed to run for re-election in 2026, is now expected to announce she won't be seeking another term. This follows Scott Wiener's announcement that he's primarying her, the same guy best known for getting pissed on in a kiddie pool at the Folsom Public Sex Fair. Oh, remember that? The guy who was in the pool getting peed on in the street during that public sex fair, and reclassifying statutory rape of 14-year-old boys as consensual sex. Meanwhile, Chuck Schumer's getting his ass handed to him in the polls by AOC, who would crush him if she decided to primary him. He's lagging badly in fundraising and will likely bow out as well to avoid humiliation. Amazing times for the Democrat Party as the NAMBLA members, North American Man-Boy Love Association members, and Champagne Socialists out the geriatrics from power. And watch what it turns into, God help. The Democrat Party won't survive this. They won't survive having the North American Man-Boy Love Association members and the Champagne Socialists, okay? They're not going to survive. And they're going to turn on each other and tear each other apart. That's what they've been doing. The Yorkshire Lass said, remember, we have the Bill of Rights, 1689, that protects we the people from their corrupt and criminal government by limiting the power of the fake monarchy and establishing individual rights that are protected under law, which the government has to respect. However, our government have gone rogue, and I'm talking about you guys in the UK, and are terrorists against its own people. What happens when the corrupt governments and fake crown turn against the country? How do we take back our country without a civil war? How do we get past the fact that the judiciary are corrupt and not following the likes of the Magna Carta which says that the king and government are not above the law? What happens if the majority of people in this great country turn their backs on its government? What happens when a country is at breaking point? What if the MPs in Parliament do not vote a no confidence? What if your king and government are both in support of immigration, have converted to Islam? Can an outsider government take down a tyrannical government in another country because it's now a political crisis? My question really, is the military the only way? When I say military, I mean a military that stands and protects the people of that country who are in need of help. And my final question, do we actually need a government? The English Bill of Rights, 1689. And a lot of people are saying, I didn't realise this, you have an English constitution. Why did I not know that? Okay. And I'm going to go into a bit of constitutional stuff at the end if I can get to it. I've bookmarked so much stuff. Stand Up for Truth said breaking Attorney General Ken Paxton has the legal authority to investigate allegations of improper funds sent to Jasmine Crockett from Act Blue, separate from the investigation underway by the FEC. And if you'd raise your hand if you want, put one in the chat if you want him to find out if any of that money went into her bank account. Even I'd put one in the chat for that one. And I'm not even American. American politics is very interesting, though. So is ours. But, I mean, it's they're the leaders of the free world. Whatever they do, the rest of us seem to follow. Mario Norfolk said, judge to Trump, no troops in Portland, occasional violence is fine, apparently, said the judge. Trump tried to send National Guard troops to Portland to shut down wild protests. A judge said nope, and now the soldiers are just stuck waiting around like they showed up to a party no one invited them to. Apparently the protests weren't violent enough to count as an emergency. Never mind the bats, fires and attacks on federal buildings. The judge said it was just isolated chaos. Oh, cool. So if it's only some fires, we're fine? The wild part, Trump's own team in Portland didn't even know the troops were coming. They found out on the news just like the rest of us. Still, the plan was simple. Protect federal properties, stop people from wrecking stuff. But the court says that's an overreach. So now we've got a president told he can't use the military, a city full of unrest and soldiers chilling in limbo like extras in a zombie movie. Source, CNN. I don't think I trust CNN. The question on deck in Portland this week, can a president turn the National Guard into a domestic police force? Well, they can if there's an emergency. National emergency, is it? Pepe Deluxe said, according to the Harvard Crimson, the explosion took place at the Goldenson building in Harvard's Longwood Medical Campus. Apparently there was an explosion. 9 hours, around 3 a.m. At Harvard University Police Department officer responding to the building shortly before 3 a.m. and observed 2 people fleeing the scene. The Boston Police Department did a sweep of the building and found no additional devices. No injuries were reported in connection with the explosion. Who's trying to hide something? At Harvard? Are you trying to hide something? WTRF7 News said breaking police have released surveillance images of 2 potential suspects after an intentional explosion rocked Harvard Medical School early Saturday morning. This makes me think someone's trying to hide something. No one was hurt? Not that I want anyone to be hurt. I'm glad no one was hurt, but I think it's trying to hide something. One Nation Australia is on the way up. Breaking One Nation is now within 9% of beating the Liberals' Nationals single digits. Australians have had enough of high electricity prices. They're blaming the Liberals and Nationals, who signed up to net zero in the first place. The public mood is shifting against high immigration, outrageous housing costs and living expenses that are mostly unaffordable for working Australians. She's on her way up. Right Pulse News said this sheriff from Brevard County, Florida, is under fire for how he addressed the threat of rioters. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or you point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at because we will kill you graveyard dead. Was he out of line? No. If you point a gun at one of the deputies, you deserve to be have your remains collected. Seriously. Throwing bricks at people, firebombs, anything like that. Isn't that terrorism? I'm sure that is. Scott Adams said update, getting Pluvicto. Oh, Scott Adams asked, okay, I've got it down further because I was bookmarking as the days went by. Scott Adams asked Trump and RFK Jr. to help him because he's got cancer, okay? Is Scott Adams the health ranger? I think he is. Update said getting Pluvicto, the cancer drug, tomorrow via Kaiser, Northern California. The Trump administration works fast. Amazing. For context, I waited months for the drug like everyone else, but I think my files got misplaced or something, and that glitch just got corrected. Not sure. Well, Trump and RFK Jr. that were willing to help him, and they did, I believe. Lozzie B said Neighbourhood Watch. This is what Australia needs. This is what Neighbourhood Watch should look like. Okay? We have violent foreign criminals running around with machetes and guns, terrorising, assaulting and killing our people. Unless we can defend ourselves, our families and our communities will continue to suffer and more innocent people will be killed. Our government has abandoned us, left us defenceless and imported and released dangerous, violent savages into our communities. They've also shut down and cut funding to police and local police stations and now closed evenings and weekends in the middle of a Labor-caused crime crisis. We should have never given up our guns, Australia. We're sitting ducks of diversity. Exactly. This is what our Neighbourhood Watch should look like. Seriously. Every home armed and men like this around. Alex James said, I believe that Australia has just entered its crossroads moment. Treaty is about slowly ushering in a new totalitarian Marxist regime, here in Australia obviously. To think the government genuinely cares about Aboriginals is laughable. No, they're using them. Either we all wake up and start pushing back or this country will become very twisted. Either we take our country back or 1984 will happen. Alex James said abolish the Victorian Parliament. The US government shut down for weeks and life goes on as per usual. Sort of. And most of us know that whenever the government gets involved in anything, it usually screws it up in one way or another. To think that people can't effectively govern themselves is a product of the Fabian shackles we've been confined to for the last half century or more. Similarly with federal governments, there was a time when there were no income taxes. The US launched their revolution over things like taxes on tea. They didn't have income tax at the time either. The US was so successful and grew so quickly during the 1800s because of a lack of government influence. Murray Rothbard spoke extensively on this, and the same happened here in Australia too. We developed quickly and started to come to a halt when the government stepped in and said they knew better. The Victorian government is so dystopian that they lock down their own people, want to fine people for having cars on their properties that they don't approve of, and are more concerned with the UN's UN drip agenda and their sneaky globalist allegiances via treaties and native title, etc., than the average Victorian. No wonder we call them the People's Republic of Victoria. They've earned that nickname. There would be nothing lost by abolishing it altogether. Obviously within reason, of course, considering basic public services. But otherwise, what's the point of them? And especially, what's the point of the politicians? I'm sure basic public services could be run without them. Do they make laws that benefit the people? Or do they make laws that benefit the few? That benefit the beneficiaries of treaty? Does anyone actually believe that treaty and subsequent Aboriginal programs are being enacted simply because these politicians are just nice, lovely people? They have nothing to gain, right? They're just kind-hearted politicians. If anyone believes that, then they're simply an idiot, and I've got a bridge to sell you. Alex James. Yeah, I put my bit in there. I've got a bridge to sell you if you believe that. Okay, Katie said they haven't gotten rid of her yet. Go Pauline, One Nation are climbing in the polls. Watch this. This is from back in the 90s. Okay? Listen to this.
No, anyway, you must get rid of me. The only people that are going to get rid of me are my constituents, not you.
I don't know if I'm allowed to play that. Yeah, go Pauline with the guns. Yeah, it's music. Okay, hopefully YouTube don't grab me for that one.
That are going to get rid of me are my constituents, not you.
I love it. Go Pauline. I don't know if any of you remember the 90s when she was getting hammered. I do. I thought it was highly unfair back then. AKA said at a CVS store a father escorted his 2 sons back to return stolen items. I've done that, including energy drinks and snacks. He made them apologise to staff and requested the store ban them from shopping unsupervised in the future, earning widespread praise and for holding them accountable on the spot. When my daughter was like 8 or 9, she stole an eraser rubber, from a newsagent. And I found out because she didn't have any money and she said she got a new eraser. And I said, where did you get that from? And she's honest enough to tell me. So I got her in the car, drove her to the newsagent and told them, that's what this man's done. That's how you do it. You embarrass it embarrasses the shit out of them. Sorry, but you got to be cruel to be kind in the right measure. You know that song? But you do, in the right measure. So not cruel as in cruelty, but sometimes you have to embarrass or your kids are going to cry. What are you going to do, But you got to teach them the right way to do things, and that is not, stealing is not the right way. But this man who marched his sons back there did the right thing, I believe. My daughter has never stolen again after that. She was only 8. And it was the influence of a friend of hers who I ended up saying, please don't hang around that friend. Thank you very much. Going to get you in trouble. American Papa Bear said it looks like the Liberals are trying to pull a No King's Day 3.0. This time they're calling it mass blackout. It'll be from November the 25th to December the 2nd. No working, no spending, no restaurants. So you're telling me I can go out shopping and not have to deal with any Liberals? Don't threaten me with a good time.
Another liberal protest is coming up, and it is guaranteed to fail. Let me tell you why. So you're going to hear about a mass blackout. They're going to be trying to shut down the entire system by not going to restaurants and not shopping, so on and so forth, from November 25th to December 2nd. Funny part is they had to say no restaurants twice. I wonder why, but I digress. The reason I know this is not going to work is because your average leftist has the attention span of a fruit fly. They can barely keep their dates straight. Okay, when's No Kings 1? When's No Kings 2? When's No Kings 3? What's the mass blackout? All they know how to do is be anti-Trump, so they're going to try to continue to whip up these events to try to have something to look forward to on their social calendar, because all they can do is stand against him. So what you're going to see is individuals are going to hype this up, right? And they're going to say, oh, this is going to be the biggest protest ever. And nothing material is going to develop from this. They seem to act like they all hold the purse strings to the economy when they are the first ones who are typically looking for a handout instead of trying to be productive in the economy themselves. So what do you think is going to happen? So just so you know, when you see people start to talk about this mass blackout, November 25th to December 2nd, it's not going to work, just like everything else they always are coming up with. So if you didn't know before, now you know. Thank me later.
And I think that they're going to realise how much of a minority they actually are. This is going to show the world how much a minority the left is, if that goes ahead. The Rubber Duck said, I'm particularly enjoying going through 4chan Q drops, especially during these times, as those drops in particular provide background, context and explanations, in addition to the how and why. As an example, 8 years ago today, Q provided Anons with simple instructions in an overview for the role that we played and what to prepare for moving forward back then. The questions provided answers. Remember, information is everything. The flow of information is no longer controlled by the MSM but by you and others. Hence why we are dedicating critical time to distribute crumbs which can be followed in greater detail to paint the entire picture once more information is released. Note, there's a lot of information in this Q drop than what I've referenced above. The majority of Q drops are written in this fashion because some of the information pertained to events happening live back then, but the TV could not report on them for a variety of reasons, but would at future date, which is where the saying news confirms or news unlocks map or future proves past came from. In other words, everything that we were told and learned through the Q drops will at some point and in some form come to pass, and will be broadcast on the TV and internet in a way that will be consumable to the masses. The reason for enjoy the show and we are watching a movie. Q knew that many would never believe us and did not have the willful curiosity to learn the truth on their own because trauma-based mind control was just too powerful to overcome. Why is it going down when I'm going up? When you understand some of this, it makes more sense that it had to be this way. Hang on one sec, guys. I've got a cough again. My apologies. Sorry, I'm taking a sip of coffee. Okay. This is Saudi Arabia. How did Saudi Arabia welcome POTUS during his trip? Why was this historic and not covered by the MSM? How did Saudi Arabia welcome Barack Obama during his trip? How did Saudi Arabia welcome HRC during her trip? They gave Trump the biggest welcome there was. Why is this relevant? Not suggesting that Saudi Arabia is clean by any means, but they play a role in this global game of risk. Combine all posts and analyse. The questions provide answers. Remember, information is everything. The flow of information is no longer controlled by the MSN, but by you and others. Hence why we are dedicating critical time to distribute crumbs, which can be followed in greater detail, to paint the entire picture once more information is released. Why has POTUS dedicated so much time to labelling the MSM as fake news? Why is this relevant? We are fully prepared that all social media will be shut down to prevent the spread of this information, i.e. POTUS, Twitter and or mass censoring. Sealed federal orders pre-submitted as prevention and masked as in general, though that does not account for rogue agents and programmers within. Dates implementing actions are deliberately provided for authenticity. Alice in Wonderland. And Alice in Wonderland was supposed to be Hillary Rodham Clinton in Saudi Arabia. What was she getting? Awakened outlaws said Democrats, state and federal, have been abusing their investigative and prosecutorial powers, as well as weaponised court system rife with corrupt judges, waging a coordinated lawfare campaign against Trump non-stop for the last decade. Do you recall the fake news media worrying about that being politically motivated? I don't. In fact, what I do remember is, as is still the case, the same group of legacy media hacks effectively working with those interests above, working overtime to get Trump and his associates on virtually every front, serving as the PR and marketing division of the larger national lawfare operation being waged against him. Now they have their collective panties in a bunch over legitimately investigating the illegal treasonous behaviour of those who targeted Trump, as if he's the problem in this equation. Rapid response, 47, POTUS on retribution. It's the opposite. I think I've been very mild-mannered. You're looking at a man who was indicted many times, and I had to beat the rap. They tried to get me to not to run for president by going after me and indicting me, which is exactly what they did. Murray O'Norful said Scott Adams asked for cancer treatment help. Trump, RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz responded. After revealing his fight with metastatic prostate cancer and delays with treatment, Scott Adams made a public plea. On Monday, I will ask President Trump via X to help save my life. RFK Jr. responded first, how do I reach you? The President wants to help. Then Dan Scavino, no need to wait, Trump, RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz are all tracking now. Finally, Trump himself said, on it. Real leadership answers the call without waiting for Monday. Why is it going... Oh, it's going the opposite way than what I'm scrolling. Sorry, guys. And this was it. Dan Scavino Jr. said, no need to wait till Monday. They're all tracking now, Scott. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said, Scott, how do I reach you? The President wants to help. And Donald Trump shared it on Truth Social and said, on it. So that's why he's getting that. What was it called? Hang on, let's go back and have a look. Sorry, guys. If you get motion sickness, turn away now. Where was Scott Adams? Come on. I want to know the name of it, that medication. Oh, I've gone past it. Sorry, guys, just bear with me. And I wonder if Tim has heard of that medication. Okay. Dearborn, Michigan. Okay, it was past that, obviously. and Nancy Pelosi and that. Portland. Pluvicto. Okay, that's what this is about. The Scott Adams thing. So they're going to help him. Okay, Bad Hombre said, so far what SNAP recipients are saying, I'm having to use my own cash now to buy food. I couldn't go out this weekend because I had to pay for food. Hello, welcome to the real world. I have to be aware of the cost of items before putting them in the cart. Welcome to the real world. I'm buying store brands and cutting coupons. Welcome to the real world. Millions of people discovering adulting overnight. Wow. There you go. This is for a reason, guys. Lozzie B said, President Trump, the United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing and able to save our great Christian population around the world, stop Islamic terrorism. Donald J. Trump said Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I'm hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern, but that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide, something must be done. I'm asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole in the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing and able to save our great Christian population around the world. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Can you help us in Aussie too? We're not getting killed though. No, he needs to go and help them first, but I wonder if he can eventually get round to us. I'm sure he will. Francie Nancy said, look at the beautiful landscape here in Australia that Victoria is prepared to destroy for net zero fantasy, even though the rest of the world has dropped it. The proposed solar farm will take up prime agricultural land the size of 280 MCGs, Melbourne Cricket Grounds, in Victoria's picturesque King Valley with the permit grant despite more than 500 objections. This beautiful area is going to be covered in solar panels. Wow. Advance said Nationals set to dump net zero. This is a huge win for Australia. We have our Liberal Party, which is supposed to be our Conservative Party, is also set up with another party called the Nationals. And so half of the Conservative Party here in Australia is set to dump net zero. I don't know about the other half. The Liberal Party, I don't think they're going to drop it. So there might be a break in in our Conservative Party in Australia. Richard, he was responding to 9 News. Victoria's become the first state to legislate an Indigenous treaty with the state's parliament's upper house, erupting in cheers and applause as a historic vote passed. Richard here said, the Australian Constitution grants the Commonwealth federal government the exclusive power to enter into treaties. Anything else is unconstitutional and thus illegal. States cannot introduce a treaty. Do you get it? God, I hope Albanese doesn't override it or doesn't find this out. They can't do it. It's unconstitutional, okay? The opinionated black woman auntie, now this is from June 24, okay? Just who the hell do these people think they are? They have about as much power as I do. In the they're going to ban gas appliances in new homes. I'm sure they've said this before. They have as much power as I do, the councils, okay? Because that's who is trying to ban gas appliances in new homes. In the 1980s, Australia held a referendum on September the 3rd, 1988, concerning the recognition of local government in the Australian Constitution, which is our councils. The proposal aimed to alter the Constitution to acknowledge local governments, which is councils, as a distinct level of government and prevent states from abolishing them or removing democratic elections. The referendum was ultimately unsuccessful, with a majority of voters rejecting the proposed change. The people said no. We've allowed councils to have too much power. It's time to take that power back, especially when the councils want to ban gas appliances in new homes. Stop listening to them. I wonder what would happen if everyone stopped paying them. I know if you're just one person and you stop paying your land rates that they could possibly take your home from you, but I wonder what would happen if everyone did it. Matt Nettle said, according to the English Constitution, it is a right to carry arms. No amount of British statutory acts can violate this. Did I get that right? I thought that's interesting because I didn't know that there was an English Constitution. How dumb am I? Okay. Richard again said the Australian Constitution grants the Commonwealth, federal government, the exclusive power to enter into treaties. Now, federal is like Albanese. It's the highest level, the big government. This means that the treaty entered into in the Victorian government is unconstitutional and illegal. Only the federal level government can enter a treaty. We just spent $500 million to say no to this shit. No means no. The Australian Constitution. Is there a real one? Let's have a look.
They tell you the Australian Constitution is one solid document, the foundation of our democracy. But that's the illusion. The truth? It isn't just one document at all. It's a patchwork. A schedule inside a British Act from 1900. The Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act wasn't written in Canberra. It was passed in London by the British Parliament. That so-called constitution we know is literally an attachment to someone else's law. Over the years, governments kept layering on more. The Statute of Westminster in 1931, the Australia Acts in 1986, state constitutions rewritten without the people's direct say. Each one claimed to give us independence, but none of them actually cut the cord. They just shifted the wording, while keeping power tied to the Crown, the courts, and corporate structures. And here's the kicker. Under Section 128 of the Constitution, the people must vote on any fundamental change. A referendum, that's the rule. But when governments wanted to rewrite the structure in 1986, no referendum. When they wanted to treat local councils as constitutional authorities, no referendum. Even when people have voted no, governments just press on as if the result doesn't matter. That's not democracy. That's fraud dressed up in procedure. At the top, we're told the Governor General represents the Queen. But after 1986, which Queen? The Queen of the United Kingdom? Or the invented corporate entity called the Queen of Australia? Even the Reserve Bank Act of 1959 says the bank is a body corporate, distinct from the Commonwealth of Australia. Think about that. Even our financial sovereignty is legally separated from political sovereignty. So when you put it all together, it's not just one problem. It's a network of contradictions, a house of mirrors. Every time you chase sovereignty, it slips to another name, another act, another fiction. This is why Australians feel something's off. It's not one hole in the story. It's dozens of cracks stitched together with legal tape. And when you really start pulling at the threads, you see the whole fabric doesn't add up. That's the Australian Constitution. Not the bedrock they want you to believe in, but a patchwork illusion that's been forged, altered, and ignored, all to keep the people from real power.
What was that little bing, bing, bing? Oh, dear. But it's right. They're right, okay? Because people think the Constitution has been rewritten, well, in a way, with their statutes, acts, and they're trying to. But it's all held together very precariously. Just wait, Australia. Wait till it's bad. It's bad. But I believe it's the same in the UK. Don't you worry about that, said the concept of native title was never in the Australian Constitution. It was wrong for our courts and governments to take it upon themselves to create native title. This should have been put to the Australian people via referendum. So a lot of people know about this, right? They know about the Australian Constitution. And they're not allowed to do this without a referendum. And they're not allowed to do it. Only the federal government can do it, and they have to take it to referendum. Okay, White Rabbit Podcast. This is because they've passed the voice treaty, so that's why I'm reading old posts, okay? Urgent, dear Australians, please please read or listen to this information. Changes to your constitution. The Commonwealth Constitution 1900 UK cannot be made without a public referendum. However, public officials in Australia unlawfully brought in the Australian Act of 1986, which we just heard, to subvert the Commonwealth Constitution 1900 UK. There was no referendum, and so in this circumstance the law is clear. The Commonwealth Constitution of 1900 UK still stands. Why did they do this? Under the Commonwealth Constitution 1900 UK, Australians have rights. Under the Australian Act of 1986, Australians are only afforded privileges which are granted or taken away by government. Privileges like freedom. Australians must en masse demand a call for a new federal election and petition, email and contact all elected officials to table a motion of no confidence in the Labor Albanese government. Referendums, Australian Electoral Commission. We are not amused. No, I'm not amused. And this person thinks it was altered without a referendum. Yeah, well, it wasn't changed, but acts and other things were added. Let's have a listen anyway. Oz Integrity said, what if the Australian Constitution was altered in 1973 without a referendum, without consent? What if it was done to facilitate government passing laws that facilitated the UN's Agenda 21, 2030? What if the constitutional crisis was so big government would fight Aussies over it? No, it's 16 minutes long. I won't play that. This is on YouTube anyway, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in the comments. I'm going to put a link in the comments. How you going, Truther for Life? Good to see ya. Who else we got in here? Reg, Ricardo, Janelle, Darlene. How you going, guys? Shannon, how you going? Have I missed anyone? I'm sorry if I've missed anyone. Tom, how you going? Dealey, how you going? Okay, I think I've got everyone. Sherry, how you going? Did I say hello to you before? Probably not. I think Rolf, how you going, Rolf? Just trying to make sure I've said hello to everyone. Cassandra, how you going? Damn it, Mandy, shoot, yeah, I think I got back to that. Okay, just wanted to make sure I said hello to everyone. Let's go back. And that's it, actually. There you go. That's it for the news for today. If you can hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. And if you want to share it, if you think it's worth sharing. Tom, hello, Mega Warriors. How you going? Okay. Yeah, damn it, Mandy said there are so many people in America that need those benefits that don't get them. Damn it, Mandy said, I saw a homeless American the other day sleeping outside in cold weather while it was raining. If that person had been illegal, they would have been in a 5-star hotel with food and money. Yes, that is what it looks like here in Australia too. Stu said, I doubt they'll go home to their shitholes. Have call me a realist or pessimist. Kelly said, let's believe Jesus to supply our every need as we put the kingdom of God first. Definitely. And God helps those who help themselves. Oh, Karen, how you going from Kentucky? Good to see ya. Okay, yeah, they'd be put up in a 5-star hotel here and UK, we know that. Charlie said it's taken over half a century to get the system in place. They have no intention of giving up control. I agree. J1 said if the shutdown runs to 41 days, Trump can permanently cancel the waste. Ooh. Damn it, man, you said the left's trying to say that Trump's trying to take SNAP and Social Security. They don't mention he's taking it from illegals and able-bodied workers. Exactly. It's meant to be a helping hand, not a lifestyle, man. That's what I'm trying to get I've been sick for years. I'm trying to get myself better so I can get off the government. I don't want to be part of the government, you know. Benefits. But I can't work until I sort myself out completely. Because I go down like a bag of you know what, and it can happen for days or it can happen once a month. I don't know. Anyway, Deb said it's the only reason why Labor had to bring in voters because we're done with Labor. Yes. Yeah, Pauline Hanson's party's growing. Yeah, people are fed up. Slowburn said nobody's doing that Q stuff anymore. Oh, a few people are. I've seen some. Just referring back to it, that's all. Reg said Pauline's the only woman in Australia who should have the reins of power. All others are miserable failures in their jobs. Yes. Deb said yes, Hev did work hard to keep herself on YouTube. Yeah. Deb said, thank you for remembering to unmute. Oh, my God, I'm hopeless. J1 said, Slowburn, and we know just got their YouTube channel back. Great content and rolls with the back channel. Deb said, it always gets hardest when you're about to win. Yep. Reg said, Slowburn, Hev is, I am, just to refresh our memories of what they told us years ago. We're watching a movie, it really does seem that way. Yeah, well, it does. Railroad Reg said, Bronwyn Bishop and a helicopter ride scandal. Remember that? No. Deb said they have 30,000 guillotines. Why? Democrat. Deb can't stand the bloody lies and bullshit. J1 said, and stopping 8 wars. Yes, Trump has stopped 8 wars. Reg said, Deb, didn't DHS or FEMA order 6.4 billion bullets about 12 years? Yeah, I remember all that. And the coffins. Yeah, D. Lee said $65,000 worth of hot dogs with Big Mike. D. Treadhead, how you going? That is the one person who did more damage in the White House than any other president. I agree. Rolf said Obama built an underground bunker while in office under the White House. Charlie said, I would see the new ballroom than attending a hot dog party. Yeah, well, I agree with that. Kelly said it's $376 million to build the basketball court. There you go. And Trump got donors to build the ballroom. Reg said, well, Obama refurbished the underground tunnels. Didn't he put them to good use? Maybe, yeah. Kelly said, if who's elected? Deb said, spitting is vile. Hertz said, yeah, they're bloody well everywhere. They hate us, yep. Reg said, yes, Deb, I remember those FEMA coffins. Yes, you do, yep. Hertz said, jealousy. Railroad Reg said, they are bitter and full of hate. Prove me wrong. I agree. Deb said, people said family members got picked up in hurricane to be taken to safety to never be seen again. FEMA buses. Charlie said most Americans have very short attention spans as well as poor memories. The media and politicians count on it. I think that's the same here in Australia. They think we're stupid. Deb said, sounds like what's happening in England. Hertz said, these people are a very big problem worldwide. Reg said, in Upper Mount Gravatt, Brisbane, within 75 metres of each other, there are 3 migrant service offices in a small strip mall. What the oh, wow. Hertz said, it's going that way. We've had enough. Deb said, not like some have tried to warn us all in book form years ago. Yes. Charlie said, American politics are more profitable than interesting. I don't know. Well, that's how I woke up in 2008, following American politics. And so I find it really interesting. But I find our parliament interesting too, especially when they're being questioned. Very interesting to see the obfuscation happening. Reg said, one, she's been milking the system for sure, those wigs and nails. Dealey said, if you tell a lie often enough, you'll have American politics. Deb said, I like the sign trespassers will become dog food. Cassandra said, I find Health Ranger too fear-based in my honest opinion. No, me too. I don't follow them. I used to a long time ago when I first woke up. But yeah, no, I understand exactly what you mean, Cassandra. Hertz said, I wish we had that in the UK. Deb said, thank you for lurking. After you give Hev a thumbs up, please. I'd appreciate that, guys. Deb said, yep, my idea of neighbourhood watch. Yeah, Hertz, we're here debating pepper spray. God help us. Janelle, thanks for the reminder, Deb. Yeah, Deb said, thank God you can make your own capsicum spray or pepper spray. Deb said, bring the fish and chips, Pauline. Darlene said, my mum found Pauline drunk on a beach. Helped her out years ago. Oh, dear. Deb said, making good people is showing them. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Cassandra said, shopping without libtards around. Reg said, I stole some gold and rosary beads from the newsagent when I was 7, forgot to take them out of my pocket. Mum found them in the washing machine, lols. Charlie said, my dad would have made me take it back, made me pay for them and tell the store to take the money as a restocking fee. They're whooping my ass. I miss my dad. Yep. Shannon, g'day. Reg said they know it's the billionaire tech giants, those are real kings, and they subconsciously don't really want them in charge. Shannon said, go on to sleep, can't type. Have a good one, Shannon. Reg said, I got belting, but no instruction as to move forward. Poor me, I had to learn the hard way. Yeah, me too. That's why I taught my children. Tom said, shopping without libtards is a dream of mine. Reg said they gave Trump the sword. The king looked defeated, but everyone was so happy. That's what I remembered. Yeah. Darlene said, thumbs up to Deb for being such a welcoming mod. Yes, she's a great mod. Deb said, just filling in for our Alex. I learned from the best. Wow. Reg said, Black Lives Matter even if they are Christian. I wish lefties would understand nuance. Deb said, I would love to see a formerly known as Prince Andrew has become a commoner and has to live his life like us. Pay bills. Reg said, Australia needs to take a pause. I rethink our direction, won't be jumping off the cliff yet. Reg said they will tell us he is, but his friends will find a way to keep him in the lifestyle he's become accustomed at no cost to himself, I'm sure. Shannon said it's about control. They can't turn off your gas bottle, but with electric smart meters, they can turn it off at will. Yes, exactly. Darlene said the only good thing about Victoria is public holidays. Reg said no means no, Jacinda. Yeah. Reg said Julia Gillard bragged that she passed over 1,700 laws in a parliament while she cucked. Janelle said last I read he was the king for separate residence for himself and F still on Crown land. Truth for Life said Mancinta. Good on you. Reg said, Janelle, that's what I heard. Makes sense. Hopefully shame rots his soul. Seriously, I don't like these people. Neither do I. Or their enablers, I agree. The more we find out, the freer I become. Ricardo, how you going? Good feeling now? Freer? Oh, just jumped on me. Hey, Randy, how you doing? George, how you going? Good to see ya. Truth for Life said all Truth channels are back. Something must be brewing. Yeah, that's what I reckon. Have we been brought back for a reason? Like, is this about to happen? I do think it is. I think that's maybe why we've been brought back. If you think of who's ultimately in charge to expose themselves and everything. Deb said, yes, the horrible vision of panda eyes, damaged children, pictures are back, truth coming out in the mainstream. Cassandra said, I believe when Jassara happens, all foreigners would race home as to be in the country born to get your piece of that pie. Yeah. I said that a long time ago. I believe they're going to have to go home to get there. If Nasara Jassara is a real thing, they're going to have to go home to get it. I saw TikTok last night, police rescuing a teenage girl trapped in a box in a garage. They pulled her out and damn those panda eyes, I still feel hurt for her. Oh, no. Deb said, a new Australia has Labor Party sign in their front yards in my suburb. Oh, God. Tom said the future is very bright, Warriors. I do believe it is. And once we see what America is like, because America's going to go first, we are going to want what they're having. Truth for Life said coffins at old Target stores. Reg said Bronwyn took an RAF chopper to some social event. 15-minute trip. Deb said we need giant signage, no means effing no, and flood the country with them. Reg said this treaty bullshit going to make us into racists. Time for Aborigines to take a stand for Australia instead of themselves. We do support them after all. Yeah. Either that or pull everything down and leave them to it, and off we go. I don't know. But you've got to pull everything down that we've built. Reg said, what would they do without the government money? Maybe they need to adult as well. Yeah, Deb, sea babies with panda eyes. It's horrific, horrific. Especially when you know how they get those panda eyes, by being attacked sexually, you know. Railroad Reg said, Deb, I can understand how these people are not arrested. They're all pedos are compromised. I think yes. Janelle said it's a big club, of course, Reg. The Wiener laptop, frazzle drip, yeah, Deb. Truth for Life said Black Lives Matter. Reg said Janelle too. Right, Janelle, and we ain't in it. Yep, big club and we ain't in it. Reg said, oh, but do we want to be in their club? I don't like the membership fee. No, we don't want to be in their club, okay? We don't. Deb said mattress actress and her handbag are next. Reg said that'll be getting a letter from Nigeria to say you won the $150 million lottery or someone left it to me in their will. A scam, cry wolf. Okay, guys, and with that, I'm going to leave it there for today. I don't know when I'm going to put my computer in to get it all updated. I can't update to Windows 11. And a lot of the software, streaming software, has updated to Windows 11, so it may not be compatible and there may be problems here and there with it. So I need to update my computer. So I won't be doing it just yet. I'm gonna inquire around and see what happens. But anyway, guys, I hope I'll let you know before it happens, where I might have to take a week off or something. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. And I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye.